On from one copious individual to the other man of the hour, Dana White.
Oh, no.
Again, this,
We gotta be careful.
Yeah.
We're gonna be careful, man. Your press pass.
My UFC pass is going to get cancelled to this. Okay. All right. The Dana White situation. I mean, you've seen the video.
Yep.
TMZ. So just to put it out there, if for those who don't know, I think it was a New Year's Eve party. Dana White and his wife of 20 plus years.
Yeah.
27 something.
Yeah.
So they've been together. Got into an altercation. So she slapped him first. And yeah, the video's in the video. So he responded.
Just sort of the question, like it was a bit blurry what he did.
Yeah.
Because she slapped him, but did he punch her?
No.
Or was
he
it a
slapped
slap
her
as well?
back.
Okay, it was a slap
Yeah,
back. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
So it's grainy footage. It's
grainy,
out on the
yeah,
internet. It's
yeah.
on TMZ. So you can go and look at it. But he returned. Yeah, he returned the slap. So that's one element. And if you're a guy as in Dana White, president of the UFC, you can't do that at all anyway.
It's
right?
not a good look.
Yeah, it's not that it's not. It's just not right, right?
Right.
So the interesting narratives to come out of this is A, it got caught on camera, B, it got leaked. Not leaked, but yeah, it's out for public consumption. And there are a couple of different elements here that are interesting. One is that as at now, there's no punishment for it, and a lot of people are calling for some level of you can't do that. And I think he appeared in a press conference.
Yes,
to
I
promote.
saw that.
You saw that, right?
Press conference, and everyone's a bit pissed off. Like, why is he deciding his own punishment?
Well,
theoretically deciding his own punishment.
Yeah. So what did he say? He said that if I take 30 to 60 days off, it doesn't make me. Yeah, it doesn't benefit. Like it makes the fighters worse off, right?
Yeah.
So using some level of a justification. Before we get into that, what do you think of his demeanor? Remorseful? I mean, like he's been in front of the camera for so long, so he's a polished guy in terms of that regard. I mean, it seemed like he was remorseful for his actions, right?
Well, one of the questions that was asked to him at that press conference was like, look, in 2014, you was a fighter that, hit another fighter, like hit a woman, right? And says, you said that was completely...
You can't come back from that.
Can't come back
the
from
verbatim,
that.
right?
And it's like, how do you come back to that from a presidential sort of position in UFC, but also with your wife in a personal level? How does that happen?
Yeah.
And I don't think the responses were that.
So what was the response? Look, to the second point, how does he come back to his wife? That's their conversation.
So I don't really want to know that.
That's on them. But the first element, what was his response
on
to
a
that?
professional level? And he's like, that was like he has said, like, look, I could take 30 to 60 days off, but what is that going to do?
So that's a defensive answer, really.
Yeah, it
right?
is, really.
It is another.
But I think he's the wrong person to ask. You have to ask the owners of the UFC, right?
Who are the owners?
The ones above him, the ones that bought it.
Yeah.
The ones that bought it out.
So that's
a while back.
So you're right. You're right. This again, very seemingly, if we can start seeing the themes here, it's who gets to decide these really high level.
Is UFC a publicly traded company?
It is, yeah, Endeavor.
So there would be a board of directors.
Course there. Yeah, he definitely has a boss, right?
Yeah,
he's the president of the UFC, so he is the guy on the camera.
He'd have to answer to the board, right?
Yeah, there is. He definitely does have a boss, right? That we don't know of it is irrelevant, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's interesting. That has rubbed a lot of people off the wrong way.
What do you think is the right sort of consequence for this?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, but I think the right consequence is something should happen effectively. Like it just can't. It's the wrong. Firstly, it's wrong.
Yeah.
Number one, right? That alcohol was involved is irrelevant.
Yeah, to me,
a factor, but irrelevant. Yeah,
a factor, but I don't think he should have said it that it was involved. Like what? Like
just
sorry,
own it, right?
it just makes you look bad.
Sure,
saying it like this is not on at any level. Doesn't matter whether alcohol's involved or not.
So if it was me, it's a hard one. But the way to look at it is, I mean, just take Dana White out of it. If he's a leader of an organization, and the leader is a reflection of your organization, right?
Yeah.
So if you had a CEO that was, I mean, the only thing I'll say that just blurs the lines here is if this was any any other industry apart from the fight industry. The things that, you know what I mean? It's
kind of
just
similar to what we're going to talk about later with WWE. It's actually very similar.
It's a weird industry. Okay, let's flip it. If this was like a tech company, right? Let's just say a social media company.
Yeah.
You can't have your boss like walking around drunk and being photographed and that. But Dana White is, in the past, repeatedly, he's a known gambler.
Yeah.
Like he that persona is almost the same target market of Dane. It's the same time. They worship him. And this hero worship, actually, that's the bit that I forgot to talk about today. This hero worship by young men, this is my jam too, right? Like I've got MMA Live TV, by the way. Go to that channel, subscribe, and all that jazz.
Better subscribe.
It's a good channel. It's a good channel. Just started. Anyway, it's a good channel, but like I am like the target market, right? So honestly, if you look at my searches, I love the business acumen of Dana White. I love UFC, all that content I soak up. And same thing about Ye, in the sense that when you have your idols, like calling Dana White an idol is just stretch. But what I'm saying is when you have such a strong opinion of someone, you're just bound, like the disposition is to take it under the rug in things that are really bad. So if this was not Dana White, someone else, like just say Dana White's 2IC, I can't remember, like Sean Shelby or someone, then he would be smashed. Like he would absolutely be chopped.
Well,
right?
actually, I'll give you a counterpoint, right?
Yeah.
So remember when Conor McGregor was going around chucking trolleys into buses and smashing and getting arrested, right?
Yeah.
I was 1,000% sure he would get fired from the UFC. I was like, this guy has got charges with like actual assault charges.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think they'll. But then like they didn't.
It's a cash cow. Like
it's a cash cow, right? But like, then it sort of brings into question, how is the UFC being run right now? Right? Is it something where the board of directors would care? Because if it's a publicly traded company, the board of directors in that situation with Conor McGregor would be like, man, we can't have this. It reflects badly on our brand, right? If they're not saying that for Conor, I doubt they'll say that for Dana.
Well, to speak to the brand, I think their share price has dropped a little bit off the back of it.
So that type of drop in share price will freak out the board of directors. They'll be like, "What's going on? We've got to do something then, maybe about this."
The other interesting element is the support that he's got from fighters.
Oh, really?
I mean, again, you can start like without getting support, and a lot of fighters have said it's wrong as well. But again, fighters are not the smartest bunch. The way people word
that's their
things,
boss. They're not gonna.
Yeah, see what I mean. If it was another fighter, I'm sure that guy would be slammed.
Is there fighters in Bellator giving him support?
Yeah, well, but that's what I mean, right? Firstly, it's a trending topic, so you're gonna get eyeballs off it, and for a lot of fighters, eyeballs is currency for them. That's number one. Number two, like it's just it creates and to tie into that, there's been a lot of controversy, shall we say, from your boy Ariel Helwani, but from a lot of people about the lack of coverage from ESPN.
Yes,
and I think it has been said that employees from ESPN have been explicitly told to let go of this, not to cover it, because Dana, I mean ESPN, they've got deals UFC have got deals.
They've got deals, and
a lot of people just seemingly play under different rules.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, I don't think the board of directors will really go down on Dana because not go down. We'll have any consequences with Dana White, right?
Sure.
Because if they're talking like that with ESPN, that tells to me that Dana White is not facing any consequences.
Yep.
And ESPN better come in line with this, because if he's not facing any consequences, then you should not be talking about. That's probably what the messaging has come from UFC to ESPN, maybe to a lot of its media partners.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ariel doesn't really care.
Ariel's going to
grunt. Ariel's going to be, and I've watched Ariel's reaction
to
the press conference as well, and he's discussed at it as well, and he does have a bit of a point.
Yeah.
Like, look, man, Dana and Ariel have had a pretty.
Oh, they love each other.
Pretty bad history there. I mean, with the whole Brock Lesnar thing, and I don't think Dana ever really forgave Ariel for that after that, and I don't think the type of stuff that Dana
they're not
was saying
on
at
each
the
other's
time.
Christmas cards.
And Ariel brought up, like, how Dana was saying that because Errol was crying, you know, about losing his press pass, which you might lose right now as well, or never get. But like, yeah, he was crying, and then Dana was saying, "Oh, your kids are gonna look at this, right?" And Ariel's flipped it now with, "Well, your kids are gonna look at this video. You know, what are you gonna say about that?"
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's an
interesting one, right?
It's a tricky situation because if the board of directors aren't really wanting to put any consequences to this, then it's just business as usual.
I tell you this, right? Is this gonna stop you from watching the UFC?
Not really.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
No, it won't.
Yeah.
But that ultimately, that's what's gonna happen. It's part of the news cycle. In a couple of weeks.
I also think you're onto something with the audience, right? Yeah. Does the audience care enough? I mean, if it was an audience of like, you know, people on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
Then I think he would probably be fired.
Yeah.
But I believe the audience
audience is so aligned. Okay, it's hard because Dana White and the UFC as a brand are synonymous. But
do I believe he'll be booed at stadiums? Yes. I think he will.
Yeah, people boo even people they like. So that's
I think he'll definitely get booed at stadiums. I think there will be like his public image is like tarnished.
Do you think if you were Dana White's PR publicist or whatever, and you said and he said, "Look, you tell me, I pay you the big bucks. What should I do to try and combat like my reputation, which is taking a hit here?" What would you do? What would you tell him? What would you tell Dana Bolthead White?
I'd take 6 months off, man.
Yeah. You think 6 months off?
I'd say take 6 months off.
Yeah.
Just focus on your family life at the moment.
Yeah.
Focus on your wife and come back. Put someone else in charge for now. Come back when you're ready, and because it just feels like there's a lot of heat at the moment, and I don't know whether...
Well, isn't he running away from the heat if you take 6 months off?
I don't think so. I think it's just... It'll give everyone some room to breathe.
Yeah. Can he take 6 months off now that he's said what he said?
No, not now he can't.
Why not?
Oh, it would look...
Can't you say... I've had a come to Jesus moment when I realized that I was really wrong and I need to take 6 months off because the board has told me to.
The board has told me to. That'll look even worse. But if I was his PR guy, I'd spin it a different way. But no, I don't think I'm of the thinking that the board of directors will do nothing.
Yeah,
like they've done nothing for a lot of like the history of the UFC.
Yeah,
they've done nothing on a lot of fighters crossing the line and.
People be crossing the line these days, man.
Yeah, man.
No consequence. There's just no consequence out there. Yeah. All right, Jesus, this is the second podcast, and we go into this stuff. It's doing my head in.